So if you've seen Alex Spinelli, who's been the former CTO for Alexa at Amazon, he had a few cool slides, and I just stole it from him, but I thought they were great. So if you remember Clippy, this annoying guy here who was one of the first bots built into Microsoft Office, that was a quite annoying dude. And there were two things. The technology was not ready, and people weren't ready to use such kind of a system. Now we have, let's say, a volume, and this is also from Alex Spinelli, so kudos to him, about 265 billion calls at 1.3 trillion costs happening each year in contact centers, business operations, and so forth. And instant voice recognition, if you remember it, it's anything but pleasant. Yeah, it's the press 1 if, press 2 if, and then you forget, you wait for something for the system to say that you want your task to do, like change your address, or for example, take your credit card and block it, and it just doesn't pop up, and then you repeat, call again, and all that. It's horrible, right? And we just don't want that. And that's why we don't want to build with voice bots another IVR. And I think here Alex Spinelli is dead on that topic, that we might make it more pleasant and convenient voice interactions. But the key question that we have is, why now? What changed from Clippy, which was kind of horrible, to now to have voice bots? And if we look at that, the evolution of voice bots for the past decades, it started out in '71 with assistant voice device for engineers for automatic call identification from IBM. It was also IBM who developed the first Dragon module, which was then later built into Nuance, a new company. Then there was also already a child's doll with voice recognition response, World Wonders Julie doll. In '87, also we had the first speech dictation software for consumers, Dragon Dictate. And in 2000, we had the first application for online ordering via voice. So there were already quite a few innovations years and tens of years ago, but none of that somehow sparked. All of that ended up somewhere in the nowhere. And then in 2008, we had voice search for iPhone via Google. That was before Siri. And 2014, then Amazon came up with the Alexa and the Echo system. And that was maybe when the public really got into voice and all that voice-enabled devices and everything, and people really started using it at home. So we see that it took quite a lot of time from '71 to 2014 to get the technology somewhere near close enough so that we use it. And then in 2016, speech recognition was as good as human from Microsoft speech-to-text services. So the word error rate was below 5.1%. It was, I think, at 4.9%. So that means the technology evolved at some rate where now it is mature enough for us to use it. Which I think is pretty cool, is that Amazon claimed the First Amendment rights for Alexa's freedom of speech and stuff. So we see also some weird things happening that companies start to personalize or like make it human, compare these machines to humans and try to get them similar rights. This was a case where Alexa was listening and it was a murder case happening, and they used their audio recordings basically to say who was the guy who murdered another person, and Amazon was saying that's freedom of speech. You can't just take that voice, that recording, and copy it and so forth, and that kind of thing. And that was an ongoing. I don't know what the current issue is. In general, voice UI drivers. I think one big thing that we have to see is the app saturation. And I think we all know that. We have maybe 3 apps on our phones that we really use. The rest of it, forget it. Not going to use it. And for example, if you go to China, you got WeChat, and everything you do through WeChat. The same is going to happen for us. The next thing is heavy voice usage. We can see that US adults accessing voice bots monthly, it increased manifold. On smartphones, it's more than 90% who do that. In cars, it's 78%. And on smart speakers, 46% that use that. And that numbers are increasing for each and every cohort in terms of age. So we can see that people use it more often and are happy to use it as a single source, as the one user interface that they want to interact with. Then again, you have the technology, as said before, that for the first time got as good as a human in terms of transcribing audio files, and this is for speech. And then finally, the convenience economy. People want easier and convenient to use systems, and voice provides just that. So these 4 drivers combined now, coming back to Clippy, show us that the technology is ready, or is about to get ready, and we can see that customers are willing to use it. They're educated enough. If you think back the first time you went to an airport and you saw those self-check-in things there, how many of you right away figured out how to use it and didn't have to call somebody? Raise your hands. Okay, so 3 people figured it out. I guess the rest did not. So you had to call for help. And this is exactly here what's happening. Amazon and Alexa and Siri and all those educated users to use voice interfaces. Now, as said, 50% here by ComScore of searches will be operated by voice by 2020. And this is quite some dangerous outlook if you look at it. Because right now, if you look at what is the gateway to information, it's Google, and it's one search bar. You put in your whatever you want to look at, and it shows you the first 10 items. In the future, it will be even less. It will be voice operated, and maybe you get 2 results that are going to be mentioned to the customer. And then it will be the metabot, whoever it is who's controlling that voice interface, determining which kind of products or information people will hear or what they're going to buy. So this is a huge gatekeeping infrastructure, so to speak. And if you look at where all the Alexas and Google Homes are aiming for, and to tap into each and every ecosystem that we use, we need to be aware of that as companies and cater our content to that interfaces and make sure that we're found and that we're conversational. I want to go a little bit into a few numbers, also to basically, in German we would say untermauern, of my argument, so to foster my argument that voice is now about to make a huge leap. First of all, we see here that users of voice-enabled devices, and that's also by 2020, will increase manifold. So this is the ownership right now, and this is where it will increase to. What you have to see is that if one household has a device, it can mean that the whole family is using it, so you reach more persons through one device. The next thing is also who is it using at the moment. So according to BRNI, they did a report on voice bots. 21% is the majority of 14 to 17-year-old people. So it's basically the future customers. And then it gradually decreases over time, over the age cohorts. However, looking at the time frame, all cohorts are growing. So it's an increase in usage of voice-enabled interfaces over time, which I think is also very important to keep in mind. But this determines how we're going to design the voice interfaces and for which age group. Also, what I think is interesting is are leading the evolution toward blended digital and physical experiences. This is also from Accenture. Frequency of daily usage. This is pretty crazy if you think about it. Standalone would be an Alexa device. Built-in would be something like Siri on your phone. So more than, I'd say, 60–70%, almost more than 2/3, are using it daily. This is a lot. Just imagine it, how much that is. Who here uses voice-enabled interfaces at least once a week? For navigation, who has got a car and maybe uses it there? Okay. So there's a lot of use cases where you can think of. And then the next thing is satisfaction level, right? And those numbers are from a representative study. I think it was 1,800 participants that Accenture did here. And you can see that the majority of people is really satisfied with the interaction, which is also quite amazing. Finally, what are voice interfaces used for? And this is the question that we ask ourselves at Mercedes-Benz, because now we know, okay, technology is there, people want to use it, they're happy to use it, what the heck are we going to do with it? And here you can see what it is being used for. So a lot of search and discovery. So that means make our products talk to our customers, explain their features, their functionalities, and how to activate and use them. This is something that we do in our cars with MBUX. Then you got something like filtering and refinement. General customer service. I think this is a big one for contact centers, to make everything available through voice. And for us, it was staggering. We started out with chatbots, and then figuring out that 95% of the people that we have as clients still call in. They don't use our chatbots. Although we would love them to use them, they don't. They call in. So we got to go to the channel where they are active, which means either in the car or to phone. Adding to cart, shopping experiences. I think this failed in the beginning with Alexa, that people use it for shopping, but it will increase over time. And then come a few other things like checking status, which we have also in our car industry. So 20% of our inbound calls about checking if my car is already ready to pick up from the workshop, if they've done what they need to do on it. So it's a huge use case, although it's so simple. And then if you look at the content that's available for voice, you can see that branded content is quite little. And I talked to somebody from BBC back there who's going to give a speech also about voice. Our branded content and podcast is not yet really fully available through voice-enabled devices. And this is something where we need to think of how to make our brands, just like websites, available for voice channels. So for us, it's really about these three things. It's convenience, always on, and a natural interaction that we can provide our customers with and what they aim to have with us. If you look at our MBUX system, what we can provide with it, and I don't know who of you drives a Mercedes and knows MBUX? Hands up, somebody? Maybe? Nobody, okay. It's quite cool. You can use it hands-free. I think that's pretty obvious because you can use voice. It has sorry, I just jumped. It has eyes-free interaction. It's omnidirectional, so I don't have to look or type into a certain specific device. I just can talk to it. It has VUIs anyway are cheaper than touchscreens. So building touchscreens and these user interfaces is way more expensive than having a voice user interface. And it's omni-device. Once we've built the intents and what we've done here for the car, we can reuse it for any other channel. And this is also very, very good. Speech has more meaning than text. So usually when we display text, we can't put any emotion into it. And if you think about cars, it's an emotional product. It's not just a utility, especially for us as a premium car maker. So we want to put emotion into it. So we're looking at the character design. We're looking at how to put tonality and all that sentiment into it. So this is what we're doing. And basically for us, it's have any channel that customers interact with us available through voice. That's the first column. The second one is to be on the services side available. So if somebody wants to book an appointment or check the status of his vehicle or, for example, book another digital service like digital radio on our vehicles, then we want to make that available through voice interaction and have it available in the car, but also on any other device, mobile device or website. So that's pretty cool here on that end. And then finally, looking at platforms. Sorry for the phone, this is just due to the presentation that we have on a different laptop. So this one here, we looked at Watson, we looked at Google, Microsoft Bot Framework, and to be honest, we are working with most of them. So we don't have one single vendor that we work with. And this is something, of course, you need to look at. I gave a little bit more details on selection process and everything yesterday. But these are the three things. Try to determine which are the relevant channels, make the services available, and then for us, building a platform behind it that caters to customers' needs. And finally, for us, it's the Hey Mercedes, which is in-car, and anything outside the car, we have Ask Mercedes. And our dream or our vision is to really make it available 24/7, anywhere, anyway, via any channel, and have a consistent message across all channels. Basically be context sensitive to whatever customers ask. So as I said, today is more like a general presentation, marketing-like, not that much technical as it used to be yesterday. Okay, if there's no questions, thank you very much for your attention, and take care. Bye-bye.